I don't know, it was, I think, working with a printer in a different state, he didn't like send me any pictures of it while it was working. Like, I know that he's very, very good at what he does, so I just sort of left him with it. So this is like literally the first time I've even seen how thick it is, which is great. This is what I wanted. Or like how, I don't just like how the colors look when they're on the page. So yeah, this is always going to be a big surprise, and thank God it looks this good. Otherwise, this would have been a very different video, I think. But yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about the story. This is more than any other comic I've done, like a time capsule of the stuff that I went through over the past couple of years. Part of it is set in a hospital, which I spent a bit of time in a hospital over the past couple of years. A lot of it is set in a share house and just dealing with the sort of politics of sharing a space with people. A bunch of it is about, I guess, substituting physical health for mental health and throwing yourself into a schedule that you probably don't need to make up for how like tumultuous the rest of your life is. All things that mean a lot to me personally, and I think a lot of people will be able to relate to. More than anything, this story was about, rather than focusing on the big mystery, just like honing in on the characters and their motivations and what they're worried about, so that the mystery is better. If you're, I don't know, if you feel like it's happening to your friends, you're a bit more invested in it. And yeah, I think like finding out who's behind the party can wait a little bit. I think we need to find out about how Jared's doing, who his housemate is, and what's going on with him and Frank before any of that.
Does that mean you're Jared?
I am not, no. I think if I'm anyone, I'm Aaron. That'll make more sense once you've read it. I don't know, I think like when I started writing it, I was Chino, and then I was like, maybe I'm a bit of Jared, and then I just kept adding more characters when I needed to let out more demons of my own. But I think I'm Bontown. There's a little bit of me in everyone. I think, yeah, as someone who used to be in bands and used to be like the main songwriter in a lot of bands, this was like a very similar process to putting out an album. But I feel like when I was a lot younger, I did a lot of like dumb music that I didn't really take seriously because I didn't want people to get too critical of stuff that I really put my heart into. And then I started taking it more seriously. People were cool with it. I think the same thing goes with writing comics. Like the first one, I was playing it safe. It was just like a dumb detective story in the same way that I wrote a bunch of dumb punk songs as a teenager. And then I started getting more deep and emotional a little bit later on. That's what this is. This is my real work, I guess. I think this will make sense if you haven't read the last ones. I've sort of tried to make it a jumping in point, but it'll make a lot more sense if you had read the rest of it. Yeah, I think this is a good place to start with my work, I guess. Maybe I would do 3, 2, and then 1. We'll just skip 1 altogether. Yeah.
So good though. You got to start with the classic.
So putting it together for me, I mentioned before, like I wrote it over a long period of time, and then I put all the artwork together over about 6 months, and it's been in limbo with the printers for about 3 months, which has been driving me nuts. Just like a lot of things went wrong along the way, and there were a couple of delays, but like I had left myself plenty of time for stuff like that to happen because I'm used to things going wrong, I guess, or I'm used to being surprised by the process of development. But I don't know, it's really, really weird looking at the artwork for so long digitally and then finally getting to see it in print, and that just being like a whole month where I didn't even like look at it or think about it, and now it's in my hands. It's really weird. Really good. This is the first time I've done a book that's been perfect bound, so it looks like a little rectangular prism when you pick it up, and not like a zine. That was a big deal to me. I wanted this to feel like an actual book, to I guess like partly legitimize what I'm doing, and also just so it feels more impressive when you pick it up. I could have just done it on heaps of thicker paper so that it was thicker, but I decided to make the story longer this time, and it worked out. This is almost twice as long as my first comic, but when you when you look at how much is actually going on the pages, it's like 4 times as long. I guess it'll take you 4 times as long to read it. So. I got really excited a couple of nights ago. I went for a really good run and I looked at the view of the city from a bunch of apartments in Derby Street. I just ran up a bunch of stairs and I was just like full of ideas, and I went home and wrote them down as quickly as I possibly could. And then I had like 1,000 words for what's going to happen in the next story. So if I can keep up that pace, I reckon I could have it out by this time next year. Maybe I'll split it up. Maybe it'll be in 3 parts so that you can read it sooner. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet, but I know what's going to happen. I know that it's going to be really exciting, and I really want it out while I'm still this stoked on the story, and while everyone else is still stoked and still thinking about it. I felt like the gap between Don't Panic and this one was a little bit too wide, but I had to make up for that by how sick this is. Yeah, I think it'll be here sooner than you'd expect. So